Hi everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel, A Safe Space at Home with the Manzinis. Today we are joined by a guest, a very beautiful and special lady, Simphiwe Mthombeni, as we continue with our topic, death of a parent or a caregiver. Hi Simphiwe, welcome.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself properly.
My name is Simphiwe Mthombeni and I am 24 years old.
That's good, but you look so young. I think you look 18.
Oh, wow.
Okay, the topic that we are talking about is the death of a parent or a caregiver. So obviously we brought you in because you have experience also of losing a parent. Please tell us a little bit about your experience, but firstly the family setup before the death of your mother.
Okay. Before my mom passed on, she was a single parent.
Okay.
It was just me, my little brother, and her.
Okay.
You know, so for the longest time, it was just the three of us.
Okay.
And then it happened, she started getting sick around, I think I was doing grade 11.
And how old was your little brother at the time?
My little brother at the time was very young. He was probably around 11, 12.
Wow.
Yeah, he was still quite young.
Mm-hmm.
So she started getting sick around grade 11. I was like 16.
Okay.
16, 17, around there. Yeah, she was in and out of hospital for a while, getting operations, coming back. You know, so it started before she even passed. I started being a parent to my little brother before she even passed.
Because now when she's sick, she's not able to do things in the house.
Yeah, she's not at home. I have to prepare my little brother for school, help him with homework, help him to get to school, you know, things like that. So it actually started before she passed on.
But at that time, your little brother, was he able to understand what was happening?
I don't think so, because he had a very close relationship with my mom. Very close. I think their relationship was closer than mine.
Okay.
Yeah, so he could see that something was up, but I don't think he fully understood what was happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So a year later, 2015. No, 2014. I'm doing matric. Yeah, she's still sick, but she goes to the hospital, comes back, she becomes better, and then a few months later she goes back to hospital. You know, a process like that up until 2015. 2015, I was already done with my matric now. I'm 18. I'm in college. You know.
But wait, let me take you back. During the time when you were doing matric with all this up and down of hospitals and being a mom, I would say you're already a mom then because you had already assumed the responsibilities. How did that affect your studies at the time?
Thing is, when you're in matric, there's a lot that is expected from you. Extra classes, extra work, doing this, doing that. So I think also for me, the most part personally, I wasn't sure what was happening. You know, I could see my mom is sick, but I'm like, you know, she'll come back, she'll be fine. You know, so I think I was numb to the whole idea of what was happening. You know, I don't know how I can explain what was happening, but I remember I was not okay. I was not okay for the longest time. I would miss extra classes, I would miss, and obviously at the end of the day, I'm even afraid to tell people what was happening. You know, what am I gonna say? My mom is sick, and then people get sick. She'll be fine. You know. So it took me a while to actually process what was happening. You know, and I think my mom also got to a point where she saw that she was getting really sick because she would become very emotional when you guys do things. You know, say things like, "You guys will miss me when I'm gone," and what. So I think she was also seeing that she was losing the
she's
battle.
Not gonna make it.
I
think maybe just to come in there, that's something that I remember so clear that my mother used to say also, you know, and she would say, "I think you'll be okay," you know, and I would not understand, like, where are you going? I can't be okay without you. You know. So how did that make you feel? Like, if she starts with that pattern of starting to prepare you, because I believe she was preparing you.
It would be very hard. It would be very hard because mostly she'd say that while crying. She wouldn't just say it just laughing. No, she'd say it crying. Would say, you guys don't. You guys do this and do this.
Yeah.
So I don't think at that age is something you take very seriously, because I don't remember ever losing anyone personally or close to me up until that point, you know. So I didn't know anything connected to death or anything like that personally. So I'm thinking, no man, no, of course she'll pass on, but years from now, not now, you know. She's only saying this, maybe she's hurt, and only if I knew
that eventually she will go. And then she passed away. How did the news come? How did you process it? What was happening at the time?
She started getting sick very frequently. Until one point, I remember I was at school, and then my aunt calls me. She's like, your mom is not breathing, you know. So we took her to hospital, you know. I'm like, she's not breathing. Okay. Luckily the hospital was very close to the college I used to attend.
Okay.
So she went into hospital for like a week or two. She was okay. I used to visit her, you know, eat her food. It was nice. Eat her food.
Everybody's bringing everything.
And also the hospital food, she can't really stomach the food herself. So I used to go there maybe on my lunch break, or maybe when I knock off from school, go see her. She was fine, man. You know, I had hope. She was speaking, we would laugh, you know. I had hope, you know, that at some point I was gonna prepare at home. She's coming back home, but that never happened. Hey, that never happened. I remember at one point, I went to visit her, and then when I got her to a ward, and they were like, "No, she's moved." And I remember before they moved her, the previous day that I went there, they were like, "No, she's becoming better. She might go home very soon." You know, I remember going home, preparing, cleaning, you know. My mom is coming back home. And then that day after school, I go to hospital and they're like, no, she wasn't breathing on her own, so we took her into ICU. Like, ICU? I'm only hearing that from movies. I've never been into an ICU. And I know that when they say somebody's going into ICU, that means they're very critical, you know? Yo, I remember this one time I went to visit her in ICU, and yo, what I saw was very, very hard to process. Fluid was stuck in all over her body, so she was literally a balloon everywhere because she had fluid stuck in her body. And then although she was on machines, she was connected to, I remember there was an opening her here, and then there was a tube going in helping her to breathe, you know. So she was alive, she was breathing on her own, but she couldn't speak, she couldn't open her eyes, she couldn't do anything. But when you spoke to her, she would show you that she could hear you, like she would move her head or something, you know. So seeing things like that gives you a bit of hope until they tell you she's isolated now. I'm like, what do you mean she's isolated? She's like, no, she's even worse than the time she went into ICU. Now we have to isolate her so we can give her the proper care. I'm like, okay, all right. I went home. I got home. Imagine it's just me and my little brother. When he comes back home, I have to make sure his uniform is clean. I make sure he has eaten. I make sure he's done his homework, you know. I remember that night around 10 at night, I got a call from the hospital, you know. They're like, can you please come to the hospital quickly? You know, I'm like, okay, what's happening? Why am I coming to the hospital now?
Late at night.
They're like, we'll explain now, you know. I'm like, okay, we're coming. I call my aunt. My aunt is like, stay put, I'm coming to to fetch you. Mind you, my little brother is still young, so they were not allowing him to go into the hospital room with me. So all of this is happening. I'm the only one that's seeing it, you know.
And
So,
you can't take the raw feedback to this one because
to him,
you have
what
to
am I gonna
protect.
say?
You have to protect his mind also.
I remember my aunt came and she fetched us, but she dropped off my little brother at her house, and then we went to the hospital. And then when we got there, we tried everything we could, but she was now bleeding everywhere, through her mouth, through her ears, everywhere. We tried, but there was nothing we could do to save her.
And at that point, what goes through your mind? Because this is a new life now. From that 10 o'clock when they called you, you get to the hospital. What is going through your mind as you go into the hospital and you get there, you receive this news?
Now that I think about it, it sounded like they were joking.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's dead. No, she's not dead. I was numb. For the longest time, I was numb. I didn't know how to feel about it. I didn't know how to take it, you know. I could see everything is happening. We are calling the funeral people, we're doing this, but I'm like, what really is happening? Yeah, I'm not understanding it, you know. So, I think it only hit me when everything was done now, and I had to come back. I had to come back here now and start living on my own. I'm like, okay.
So after the funeral, because you know, during the funeral, my husband called them Are Chwaragane. If you hear someone saying Are Chwaragane, they're the most problematic ones. You know? So the Are Chwaragane of the family were not there to say, no, Mwanaha says, see, Are Chwaragane will be there, will assist, will do what? Where was everyone?
Family, ne?
Yeah.
My family, the only time they came to my mom's house was before we laid her to rest. That's when they came and saw her in the coffin and whatnot. But to tell you, not even one person called me after that.
How are you doing?
How are you doing? Not even.
How is life? How is the little brother?
Immediately after my mom passed, my little brother moved in with my aunt because I remember he was still in grade 6. So it was, my mom passed on around September, a month before I turned 19. And then because there was still like a school year to finish off, she had to go live with my aunt and finish off school here. But then immediately next year he moved to Limpopo to my grandmother. It was hard, man.
The separation also between the two of
you.
You just lost your mom. Now the little brother is separating from you. I think it's double grief in a way.
Oh, man.
Because people are just moving away and you're left within the space.
And I remember you mentioned something about being sensitive. Oh man, you become so sensitive. I remember shortly after I had to go back and live alone, my mom's friend, she suggested that I come live with her and then put tenants in my mom's house. That's what I did, and I went to live with her because she was also living alone. You know, man, small comments as like, hey, why didn't you do this? You always feel like this person is treating me this way because they're not my mom. This person is there. Like you feel like these people are treating me like this because I don't have parents. Everything just makes you so emotional. And what's funny is you become emotional, but you also try and hide it. That I'm actually emotional about these things. These things actually hurt me. Just because you said 1 2 1 2, I took it personally because this is how I'm feeling. You become very sensitive to everything, things that are done around you, things that are said around you. You actually change.
That's so true.
As a person.
So the entire process, how did it affect you negatively? So because I want to hear the negative and the positive, because there's always a brighter side, irrespective of what happens. So how did it affect you so negatively? So like what would you say when my mom died, something in me was left behind. Like, maybe just to give you an example, for me, I'm not an emotional person anymore. You know, it takes something very serious for me to sit and say, yeah, it's bad, and then start crying.
Yeah.
Because I felt like the crying process had to end for me, and then I had to be a grown up. So for you, what is the one thing that you feel it was buried in the grave unconsciously with your mother?
What can I say? I think the most, it changed me as a person. I think that's the biggest thing. I became I held on to myself a lot. I became very, isolated.
Yes.
Even to my family, to my friends. I'm less interested in a lot of things. I became less interested in things that used to be fun to me, things that used to bring joy to me. It also made me like a very angry person. I couldn't understand it. I'm like, why do I not have parents? I'm a nice person. I'm kind. Why does so and so still have parents? Why? She's 50 and she still has her mom. How is that fair? It made me very angry, and also it made me. One thing I hate. It made me very fearful.
Yeah.
Very fearful. It makes me. I fear losing people.
Yeah.
And I don't like that because it can make you
Vulnerable.
a bit, vulnerable, and then a bit obsessed with people. They don't understand it, but you understand it. You fear that you're gonna leave me.
And you also are afraid of becoming too close with people.
You do.
Irrespective of how much you love them. One thing that is very funny is later on in my life, I have parents now that took me in and all. So I would miss them, but I can't call them. And I always find it so funny that I would think I miss mommy, I miss daddy, but just that thought of what if I become too close and then I lose them? You live in a moment that will never happen, or even if it happened, it would have stolen so much time. You literally eat time for yourself unconsciously, and all relationships surround against fear, isolation, anger, and all that. But at the end, life goes on.
It does.
Yeah.
Which is very harsh because you also have to sit down and think to yourself, whoa, okay, I'm alive.
Yes.
This person is not here anymore, but I am alive. What do I do from this point on? It hurts.
Yeah.
It's painful, but there's literally nothing I can do.
So true. You can't change it.
You can't.
So from there on, the positive part, what did you take with you to say, this one, I'm standing because of this?
I remember my mom used to say to me a lot. I didn't understand it then when she said it. She used to say to me, be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. I'm like, what did she say? I'm myself. I'm Simphiwe now.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Be yourself. But I kind of didn't understand it when she said it then, but it kind of identifies you as an adult. Being yourself. It makes you do anything that pleases you. Things that work for you. And once you do things that work for you, you want to do it in every space in your life. Finances, you use them according to you.
Yes.
Friends, you keep them according to what you want. So I think now I really understand what she used to say when she said, be yourself. In every situation, being yourself will actually make you see the other part of it, because even when you meet other people, you see this person is great. You see this person is, but it also reminds you this person is great, but they're not perfect.
Yes.
I'm great. I'm not perfect. So it makes you always ground yourself according to you. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Also, I think it also provided an income for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if this makes sense. To somebody else it might not make sense.
Yeah.
But to me it makes sense a lot.
Yeah.
Because when I put tenants in my mom's house, I got an income.
Entrepreneur now. I like you.
I sort of got an income.
Yeah.
it was not like somebody else might not see it like that, but it still works for me.
Yes,
It took care
yes.
of me.
Mm.
It took care of my little brother.
Mm.
Like, I'm here because of that now.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
she might have been gone, but I feel
That's
like
something.
there's doors that God opened
Yes. Mm.
because she's gone.
Yes.
There's doors that God said, no, this is for you because now, I don't know, but
Yeah.
it makes sense
I
in my
hear you
head when I
twice.
see it. It makes
I
sense,
hear
you
you
know.
twice. Yeah.
And I think the last positive I took from this is it made me grow.
Yeah.
Like, although it was uncomfortable at times, it was, but it made me mature.
Yes. Most definitely.
It made me assess things, assess family. It made me see relationships for exactly what they are, you know. It made me see people for exactly who they are.
Yeah.
I don't just look at you from this view now, you know. I'm able to analyze your behavior, the way you know, it made me really see people for what they are, you know, because you're thinking, no, it's my mom's sister, it's my mom,
Wait until.
honey, you gonna be alone.
I don't know. Just like this.
Like this. They don't even care that you're 19. You don't know what you're doing. Trust me.
You are here. You are walking. Keep walking.
Be alone.
Yeah.
And of course, when you guys see them at families, the gatherings, December, Christmas, they'll pretend like they unjani.
And that's the funny part, that now on a later stage, everyone expects to connect with them when they could not connect with you when you needed them the most. You literally feel like,
And like my
can't
grandmother
connect.
would call me now. It's like, no, you must force your way into the
Your
family.
aunt,
Your
your
aunt.
aunt.
I'm like, I don't know these people. They're my aunts, but I don't know
same
these
WhatsApp
people.
group.
Like,
Yeah.
you're my
Where are
aunt,
they?
yes, you're my mom's sister, but I don't know you.
Yeah.
How? Because I remember there was a point where I had to go live with my aunt for like 6 months. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. First of all, I used to feel like, no, she can't cook.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Her food sucks. I can't eat this food.
Yeah.
There's things that you learn about this person that I don't know this
Yeah.
person, you know? I didn't know this about this person. But
Yeah.
family is family by name. Right?
Yeah.
If you have a lovely family that takes care of you, you're blessed. You're really blessed.
So much, so true. I think what we can also learn from this situation is that family is not only family by blood. You know, there are people that will come along your life, especially after such rude awakening events, and you will realize, actually, when I say family, I say this person, you know, and we are not even related by blood, but this one person I know wants the best for me. So those at home, I hope that you have learned from the experience of Simphiwe, and your last word maybe to someone who's going through this, who just lost a mother or a father, because there are those that come from stable family, you know, that when the father goes, it becomes dysfunctional as a result of a father, although a mom is there. So for someone like that who just lost one of their loved ones, what can you say?
First of all, I'd like to say I am so sorry you're going through this. But another thing I can say to you is, don't be closed up.
Yeah.
Don't be closed up to help. Don't be closed up to people who try and care for you. I know it's hard, it's gonna be hard, but don't be closed up to people. Literally, from this point on, other people are gonna help you grow. You know, so don't be closed up. Don't be closed up to people who are trying to help you. It's gonna be hard. It really is gonna be hard. But what I can tell you is, you're gonna come out on the other end just fine.
That is so true. Even your pain, if it doesn't end, I can't need it. So just hold on and know that there are a lot more others going through the same situation that you are going through. So please keep on and know that you will pass through this journey. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel, and please remember to comment, like and share. Also subscribe. Please subscribe. tell your friends, tell your uncles, even those that didn't call you after the death of your mother, call them and tell them to subscribe. Call your enemies, call whoever and ask them to subscribe. And we'll see you on the other side. Please remember to also follow us on our social media pages at Dineo Manzini, Facebook, and Instagram, Dineo Manzini.